The ambassador's promise. Ambassador Alina Ray stared through the viewport of her diplomatic vessel as it approached the azure world of Solar Prime. The planet's 3 moons hung like pearls against the black velvet of space, casting silver light across the vast oceans below. This would be humanity's first official contact with the Solarans, a species known throughout the galaxy for their advanced bioengineering and peaceful philosophy. Behind her, Communications Officer Darius Chen cleared his throat. Ambassador incoming transmission from the Hegemony administrative vessel in orbit. Elena suppressed a sigh. The Galactic Hegemony, a coalition of the 7 oldest spacefaring species, had guided galactic affairs for over 2,000 years. They'd made their position on humanity perfectly clear. Too aggressive, too unpredictable, too dangerous to be trusted with advanced technology. For 50 years since humanity's first FTL jump, the hegemony had systematically blocked Earth from forming alliances or trading with established galactic powers. "Put them through, Darius," she said, straightening her midnight blue uniform. The sharp, angular face of High Administrator Vexthor appeared on screen. His scaled skin glistened under the lights of his command center, 6 yellow eyes narrowing at the sight of her. "Ambassador Rias," he hissed, "your vessel is approaching a protected developmental zone. The Solarans are under hegemony oversight. Your presence violates Protocol 37B of the Galactic Charter." Elena smiled diplomatically. "High Administrator, with all respect, the Solarans extended this invitation directly as they achieved FTL capability 12 years ago. They qualify as a sovereign species under the very same charter." Section 14, Paragraph 3. Vexthor's jaw ridges flared in anger. "The humans demonstrate their usual selective reading of our laws. The Solarans remain under probationary status until their evaluation is complete. An evaluation that has lasted 12 years, when the standard period is 3. Elena countered. "My government has filed 17 formal inquiries regarding this delay. We're still awaiting responses. Your presence is unwelcome, Ambassador. The consequences will be severe if you proceed." The transmission cut abruptly. Captain Mara Singh approached from the bridge. Her weathered face showed concern. That went about as well as expected. Security scans showed the hegemony has 5 warships in the system, unusual for a developmental oversight mission. Elena nodded. "The hegemony doesn't want us making friends, especially not with a species as advanced as the Solarans." She turned to face the bridge crew. "Proceed as planned. We have a legitimate invitation and diplomatic clearance." The ship descended through Solar Prime's atmosphere, landing at the designated coordinates in the coastal capital city of Luminara. The spired architecture glittered with bioluminescent light. Buildings seemingly grown rather than constructed, curving organically toward the sky. A delegation awaited them on the landing pad, tall, slender beings with opalescent skin that shimmered with color as they moved. Their large, faceted eyes reflected the world around them like living prisms. Valina stepped forward and raised her hands palms forward in the traditional Solaran greeting. "People of Solar, I bring friendship from Earth. We are honored by your invitation." The tallest Solaran, his ceremonial robes marking him as Prince Searle, mirrored her gesture. "The honor is ours, Ambassador Rias. For too long, the hegemony has kept us isolated from potential allies. We have much to discuss." The diplomatic party was escorted through the luminous city. Solar and citizens watched with undisguised curiosity. Humans were likely the first non-Gemini species they'd ever seen in person. The Lena noticed security forces stationed discreetly throughout their route. The Solarans were taking no chances with their guests' safety. Prince Zeril led them to a massive chamber whose ceiling opened to the sky. "The Hall of Transparency," he explained, "our most sacred place for truth-speaking." Once sealed inside, Zer's demeanor changed dramatically. "Ambassador, we have little time. What I share now must not leave this chamber." Elena nodded, instantly alert. "You have my word." The hegemony has scheduled what they call a cultural integration ceremony in 3 days. All Solar and leadership will attend. Zarl's colors darkened with emotion. "Our intelligence suggests it is actually a planned purge." The Lena felt ice in her veins. "A purge? You're certain?" A female Solaran stepped forward, introducing herself as Chief Intelligence Analyst Mila. "We intercepted communications between hegemony vessels. They speak of population reduction and resource reclamation. This matches historical patterns before the hegemony eliminated the Krell and Vidian civilizations. Darius, who had been scanning documents on his data, looked up sharply. Those species are listed as extinct due to natural disasters. Engineered disasters, Zerl corrected. The hegemony allows no potential rivals. The Krill were master shipbuilders, the Vidians weapons innovators, and the Solarins are bioengineers. Elena realized your advancements threatened their technological monopoly. Ma's skin rippled with dark blues. Fear. We discovered how to integrate biological and technological systems at a cellular level. Our breakthroughs could revolutionize medicine, terraforming, even interstellar travel. Why now? Elena asked. You've had these capabilities for years. Because of you, Zerl said simply. Humanity. The hegemony fears a human-solar alliance more than anything. Your adaptability and our biotechnology together would challenge their dominance. Elena paced the chamber, mind racing. We need evidence, something concrete we can present to the Galactic Assembly. Evidence won't matter, Mila said bitterly. The Assembly is controlled by hegemony interests. Then we evacuate your leadership before the ceremony, Elena suggested. Zerl shook his head. They monitor all orbital traffic. Any unusual movement would trigger immediate action. Belina's communicator chimed. It was Captain Singh. Ambassador, urgent news. Our orbital sensors detected stealth vessels entering the system. Hegemony Purifier-class ships. The room fell silent. Everyone present knew what Purifier-class ships were designed for. Planetary bombardment. They're moving up the timeline. Elena whispered. How long? Hours. Not days, Singh replied. Elena turned to Zerl. You need to order a planetary evacuation immediately. Impossible, Zerl said, his colors fading to ash and gray. We have billions of citizens, and only enough ships for perhaps 1 million people. Elena made a split-second decision. Captain Singh, transmit emergency protocol Omega to Earth Command. Authorization ray is Alpha 79. Ambassador, that will reveal. I know what it will reveal. Elena cut her off. Do it now. She turned to the stunned Solarans. Gather your leadership and as many civilians as you can reach. You have 2 hours. 2 hours for what? Zorro asked. To save your species. Elena answered grimly. Events moved with brutal efficiency. After that, while the Soldarans mobilized evacuation efforts, Elena's team coordinated with Earth Command. Protocol Omega was humanity's deepest secret. The revelation that Earth had built its own fleet of advanced warships in direct violation of hegemony restrictions. For 50 years, human ships had officially been limited to minimal defensive capabilities, while secretly deep in asteroid bases and hidden lunar facilities. Humanity had prepared for exactly this scenario. By the time the first hegemony plasma bombardment began to fall on Luminina, the solar evacuation was underway. The hegemony, expecting no resistance, had been caught off guard when 3 Earth battlecruisers dropped out of stealth positions to provide cover fire. Elena stood in the central evacuation center with Prince Surlo coordinating the desperate flight of civilians. The ground shook with each impact, the beautiful crystal spires of the city shattering one by one. The 3rd evacuation wave is away, reported Darius, his face streaked with dust from a partial ceiling collapse. But the hegemony has adapted its targeting. They're focusing on our ships now. A tremendous explosion rocked the building. Structural supports began to fail as the ceiling started to collapse. Elena pushed several Solaran children toward the exit before diving clear herself. When she looked up, part of the chamber had collapsed, cutting them off from the main evacuation route. Is there another way out? She shouted to Zorro over the den of destruction. The prince nodded, leading them down a secondary corridor. The royal transport is in a secure hangar below. It can hold perhaps 40 people. There are at least 100 evacuees still in this sector, Elena said. Zerl's colors swirled in anguish. I know. They reached the underground hangar, where a sleek vessel waited. Nearby, terrified Solar and civilians huddled together, their skin colors muted in fear. The Lena opened a channel to her ship. Captain Singh, what's your status? We've lost the Dauntless, and the Resilient is heavily damaged, Singh replied, her voice tight with controlled emotion. Earth Command reports the main fleet is still 9 hours out. We can't hold them that long. Alina made her decision. Get our remaining ship out with as many evacuees as possible. The prince and I will take his transport with the civilians from this sector. Ambassador, that's an order, Captain. Humanity made a promise to protect our allies. Keep that promise. The transmission ended. Elena turned to see Zeril watching her, his eyes reflecting her image 1,000 times over. That's what allies do, Olena replied. As they loaded civilians onto the transport, a deafening roar filled the air. The ceiling of the hangar began to crack as the bombardment intensified. We're out of time, Zoril said. They sealed the transport doors with barely half the civilians aboard. All they could fit. Elena took the co-pilot seat as Zoril guided the ship out through a collapsing tunnel into the burning sky above Luminara. What they saw from orbit would haunt Elena forever. The once beautiful azure world was scared with fire, clouds of ash obscuring entire continents. Hegemony warships methodically circled the planet, firing precise bursts that targeted population centers. This is genocide, she whispered. Prince Shirel's voice was hollow with shock. My world, my people. The Solaran royal transport slipped past the hegemony blockade, its advanced stealth systems, temporarily shielding them from detection. As they prepared to jump to emergency coordinates, Alina sent one final transmission to Earth. This is Ambassador Rai to all Earth Command. The hegemony has begun the systematic destruction of Solar Prime. I have Prince Sorrel and approximately 40 survivors aboard. Countless billions are being slaughtered as I speak. She paused, fighting to keep her voice steady. The hegemony has shown its true face today. Humanity must answer. Rise out. As the ship jumped to safety, Alina made a silent promise to the burning world behind them. This atrocity would not go unanswered. Humanity had hidden its strength for decades, waiting for the right moment to challenge the hegemony's cruel rule. That moment had come. Retribution's edge. Admiral Hiro Ko stood before the holographic display in Earth Fleet Command, his weathered face illuminated by the blue glow of tactical projections. Around him, the highest-ranking military officials of Earth's United Defense Force watched in grim silence as the footage from Solar Prime played for the 5th time. The systematic destruction of an entire civilization. Billions of lives extinguished in a matter of hours. The solar and evacuation ships have been directed to the Artemis base in the Kuiper Belt, reported General Diana Okafor, her voice tight with controlled rage. Ambassador Rias and Prince Earl will arrive within 12 hours. Admiral Kato nodded, and the hegemony still at Solar Prime harvesting resources from the ruins. Diana replied, Our stealth probes indicate they're already setting up mining operations. They're not even waiting for the fires to cool. President Amaran Mosu, attending via secure hologram from Earth, spoke next. Admiral Katao, the Security Council has voted. Authorization for Operation Sunbreaker is granted. Full deployment of the Phoenix Fleet is approved. A murmur ran through the assembled officers. For 50 years, humanity had hidden its true military capabilities from the hegemony. While officially complying with restrictions that limited Earth ships to minimal defensive capabilities, a secret fleet had been constructed in hidden shipyards throughout the solar system. The Phoenix Fleet, named for the mythical bird reborn from ashes, represented humanity's determination to never again be at the mercy of alien powers. It's time to show the hegemony what humanity is truly capable of, Keto said, his voice deceptively soft. Commence Operation Sunbreaker. Throughout the solar system, hidden facilities sprang to life. Massive doors opened in the sides of asteroids. Shipyards concealed beneath the clouds of Jupiter activated launch sequences. Stealth hangars on Mars and Luna disgorged vessels that had never been registered in any official database. The Phoenix Fleet consisted of over 200 warships, from nimble attack cruisers to massive dreadnoughts. Each incorporated reverse-engineered alien technology, combined with uniquely human innovations. They had been built for one purpose: to challenge the hegemony's military supremacy. Admiral Kato transferred to the fleet flagship, the UES Prometheus, a vessel 3 times larger than any officially acknowledged human ship. On the bridge, he met with his command staff to finalize the battle plan. The hegemony has ruled through fear for 2,000 years, he told them. They've eliminated any species that threatened their power. Today we show them they finally met their match. Strategic displays showed the fleet primary targets, 7 key hegemony worlds, including their homeworld of Vex Prime. Simultaneous strikes would throw their command structure into chaos. The plan was not total war. Humanity would not descend to genocide, but rather a surgical dismantling of the hegemony's military capacity. "Sir," his executive officer interrupted. "Ambassador Reyes is requesting permission to come aboard." Cato raised an eyebrow. "Granted. Escort her to the bridge immediately." Elena Rice arrived minutes later, her diplomatic uniform replaced by a standard fleet jumpsuit. Behind her came Prince, his opalescent skin now dull with grief, and several other Solaran survivors. "Admiral," Elena said, saluting crisply, "Prince Zeril has critical intelligence on hegemony defenses." Zeril stepped forward. "My people have been studying the hegemony for generations, preparing for a day we hoped would never come. We have detailed schematics of their defense systems, access codes to their communication networks, and the locations of their fleet staging areas." "Your Highness," Ko said with genuine respect, "this information could save countless lives, both human and Solaran. The Solarans and humans stand together now," Zoro replied. "My only request is that I be allowed to join this fight. I have extensive training in biological warfare countermeasures, knowledge that may be useful when the hegemony deploys their more exotic weapons." Cato considered the request. "Granted. You will work directly with our tactical division." As the meeting continued, Zeril provided the command staff with access to solar and intelligence. What they discovered was sobering. The hegemony had been systematically eliminating threatening species for millennia, rewriting galactic history to erase their victims. Humanity was but the latest target in a long line of civilizations deemed too dangerous to exist. 12 hours later, the Phoenix fleet departed the solar system through a series of controlled wormholes. Another technology the hegemony believe humans didn't possess. They emerged simultaneously at 7 different hegemony systems. At the hegemony military hub of Krax 4, Admiral Cato led the largest battle group personally. The Prometheus dropped out of the wormhole directly above the planet's main defense station. Before the hegemony could react, precision strikes disabled their orbital weapons platforms. "This is Admiral Haruto Keto of the United Earth Fleet." He broadcast on all frequencies. "The hegemony's unprovoked genocide of the Solaran people will not stand. Surrender your military installations and prepare for new leadership." The response was immediate and predictable. A barrage of plasma fire from the planet's surface batteries. The human fleet had anticipated this. Their ships equipped with advanced deflection shields based on principles even the hegemony hadn't mastered. They always assumed superior firepower equals victory. Cato remarked to Alina, who stood beside him on the bridge. "It's why they've never truly understood humans." The battle for Krax 4 lasted less than 3 hours. Precision strikes neutralized military targets while avoiding civilian areas. Dropships deployed ground forces to secure strategic locations. By the time the planetary governor surrendered, the hegemony forces had suffered overwhelming losses, while civilian casualties remained minimal. Similar scenes played out across 6 other systems. The Phoenix fleet operated with surgical precision, dismantling the hegemony's military infrastructure without resorting to the planetary bombardment tactics that had destroyed Solar Prime. On the Prometheus, Alina worked tirelessly alongside Prince Zeril, coordinating with other surviving Solarans who had been hidden throughout the galaxy by their intelligence network. They activated sleeper cells and resistance groups on dozens of planets, focusing on worlds where the hegemony had subjugated local populations. 3 days into the operation, the first major counterattack came. A hegemony battle fleet, twice the size of Admiral Ketao's forces, emerged from hyperspace near Krakiv. "They've redirected their central armada," reported Tactical Officer Lieutenant Commander Rayo Conquo. 17 capital ships, over 200 support vessels. Cato studied the tactical display calmly. "Right on schedule. Move the fleet into Sunbreaker Formation Beta. Prepare for Phase 2. The human fleet appeared to retreat, drawing the hegemony forces into pursuit. As they passed the 4th moon of Krakiv, the trap was sprung. Hidden antimatter mines detonated throughout the enemy formation, disrupting their shields. Simultaneously, cloaked human destroyers decloaked and opened fire from point-blank range. On the bridge of the Hegemony flagship, Eternal Dominion, High Commander Vexthor watched in horror as his ships were systematically disabled. The humans were not using standard weapons, but precisely calibrated energy pulses that overloaded systems without destroying the vessels completely. "Impossible," he hissed, as reports of failures cascaded across his command console. "These primitives can't have such technology." A communication request flashed on his screen. Against his better judgment, Vexthor accepted it. Admiral Katao's face appeared. "Hi, Commander. Your fleet is neutralized. Your crews can be saved if you order an immediate surrender." "Humans!" Vexthor spat. "You think one victory makes you our equals? We have ruled the stars for 2,000 years. We have erased entire species from history. You are nothing. Yet here we are." Keto replied evenly. "Your choice, Commander. Surrender or perish." Vexthor cut the transmission. He turned to his second-in-command. "Initiate the Omega Protocol. The humans must not be allowed to inspire others." On the Prometheus, alarms blared as sensors detected unusual energy readings from the Hegemony flagship. "They're activating some kind of superweapon." Lieutenant Commander Okono reported energy signature unlike anything in our database. Prince rushed to the tactical station, his colors flashing with alarm. "It's the World Breaker, the same weapon they used on my home world. Can we stop it?" Katao demanded. "Theoretically," Zurl replied. "The weapon creates a cascading reaction in a planet's core, but it requires massive energy buildup. If we can disrupt that buildup," Alina stepped forward. "The solar and biointegration technology. Could we use it to create a counter-frequency?" Zerold's colors shifted to hopeful blue. "Yes. With your quantum processors and our biological harmonizers, we might generate an inverse wave pattern." Keto gave the order immediately. "Make it happen. All ships, focus fire on the Eternal Dominion's main reactor housing. Buy them time." The next 30 minutes were a desperate race. While the human fleet engaged the Hegemony forces, Alina, Zorel, and a combined team of human engineers and solar and scientists worked to integrate their technologies. They created a makeshift device, part biological, part technological, that could generate the counter-frequency needed. "It's ready," Elena reported. "But we need to get it within half a kilometer of their main emitter." Keto nodded grimly. "I'll take a strike team myself." "No," Elena countered. "The fleet needs you. I'll go with Zorro." Before Keto could object, she continued. "I was there when they destroyed his world. We both deserve to be there when we stop them from destroying anything else." Reluctantly, the Admiral agreed. Lina and Zero led a small team aboard a stealth insertion craft, exploiting the chaos of battle to approach the Hegemony flagship. Using Solaran access codes, they bypassed security systems and fought their way to the central weapons control. The device was placed just as the World Breaker reached 90% charge. When activated, it created a feedback loop that reverberated through the weapon systems. The Hegemony flagship shuddered as energy conduits overloaded. The World Breaker imploded, taking the ship's main power core with it. High Commander Vexthor watched in disbelief as his mighty vessel went dark around him. Emergency lighting cast eerie shadows across the bridge as human boarding parties breached the outer hull. When Admiral Cato finally came face to face with the Hegemony leader, Vexthor had been secured by Elena's team. The Hegemony commander's 6 eyes burned with hatred. "This changes nothing," he hissed. "The other Hegemony worlds will never submit to human rule." "We're not interested in ruling," Cato replied. "Unlike you, we don't believe domination is the natural order of things." Over the next week, the coordinated human Solaran campaign systematically dismantled the Hegemony's military infrastructure. With each victory, more subjugated species rose up against their oppressors. The Phoenix fleet was joined by allies from dozens of worlds, all victims of Hegemony exploitation. The final battle took place at Vex Prime itself. The Hegemony's last defensive fleet formed a desperate blockade around their homeworld. Admiral Ketao offered them one last chance to surrender. "Your empire is finished," he transmitted, "but your people need not suffer. Lay down your weapons, and we can build a different kind of galaxy together." For 3 tense hours, no response came. Then, one by one, the Hegemony ships powered down their weapon systems. The 2,000-year reign of terror was over. In the aftermath, Alina Ray found herself standing beside Prince Cyril in the great hall of what had once been the Hegemony Central Government Complex. Representatives from 27 species had gathered to discuss the formation of a new galactic council, one based on equality rather than domination. "My people are gone," Cyril said quietly. "Our homeworld destroyed, yet something new rises from those ashes." Alina nodded. "The surviving Solarans will have a new homeworld. Earth has already pledged territories for resettlement." "And the humans?" Cyril asked. "After showing such power, what will you do with it?" Alina smiled. "What humans have always done with power: argue endlessly about how to use it responsibly." The prince's colors shifted to amused violet. "Perhaps that is why the hegemony feared you so much. Not your strength, but your restraint." As the representatives began to take their seats for the first session of the new council, Elena reflected on the journey that had brought them here. Humanity had hidden in the shadows, building their strength while appearing weak. The Solarans had studied their oppressors while seeming to comply. Both had waited for the right moment to act. The hegemony had ruled through fear for 2 millennia. They had never understood that true strength comes not from domination, but from cooperation. They had believed themselves invincible, never realizing that their greatest weakness was their belief in their own superiority. Now a new chapter in galactic history was beginning, one written not by conquerors but by allies, who had learned that standing together was the greatest power of all.